we are at the end of conference, and this bill has kind of changed a lot, and I just wanted to say that thank the conference committee for amending certain parts of it. There are things that have gotten better, specifically disqualifying inmates who have prior conviction history for victim offenses such as assault, violating TRO, stalking. It also requires DPS to submit an annual record of all misdemeanants that have been excused by the DPS director. It also allows the DPS director to apply conditions that might be applied by a judge, such as staying away from drugs or staying away from a certain place. And the last thing it does is 48 hours prior to release, the director does have to notify the courts as well as the prosecutors to let them know. But I still have concerns with the system that we have and the system that's being proposed. In the prior bill, people are concerned about us overriding the judicial process. And I would say in this one, I think I have similar concerns. Because under our current system, in the criminal court, a defendant can make a motion to reduce bail or a motion to release based upon reconnaissance in a pre-trial context, and then also you can reduce a sentence in a post-trial context. So there are ways that you can plead to reduce your sentence or to possibly be excused. But by giving the DPS direct authority over this, this may be duplicative, meaning that once they go through a court proceeding, which requires that the judge hear arguments, the prosecution and defense counsel, they consider input from victims, and then they have to make a public ruling on how they came to that decision, now would be duplicated because regardless of that, they would still go through maybe a similar process with the DPS director who might be able to override that and release that the misdemeanor. Lastly, I think the question is, there is a lot of overcrowding, but how many people would have to be released in order for us to alleviate that number? And it might be in the hundreds. And so that leads that concern in my mind of how many law-abiding citizens might be affected by the amount of people that could possibly be released, and how some of these perpetrators with repeated crimes that already know your home, they already know your whereabouts, they've been tracking you for a while and maybe stealing from you, whether it be your personal belongings, bicycles, anything, that you won't be able to know that your perpetrator is back out on the street. And so I think that the way out is what we have to consider of how much we're saving versus how much people might not feel as safe anymore, not knowing if their perpetrator is back out there. And so I'm in strong support of really helping the inmates rehabilitate faster, giving services on the back end so that we can get people through the system and back on transitioning into getting jobs, back into society. And so with those comments, that's why I have concerns and vote in opposition. Thank you.
Okay.